Gonna can some pinto beans. The first thing I'm gonna do is gonna want to soak them for 12 to 24 hours. Once that soaking process is done, you want to go ahead and drain that water off of them, rinse them really well. Just add them to a stock pot, fill it back up with water, put it on the stove, bring it to a boil, and then just cut it down, let it simmer for about 30 minutes. In the meantime, go ahead and sterilize my jars and get them ready for canning. Once my beans are ready, my jars are ready, then I'll go ahead and start filling my jars up. I do go ahead, I'll go back and do it here in a second, but I forgot to add my seasoning. I do go ahead and add my seasoning to my jars before I can. You do not have to do that. You can just add a little bit of salt. Add your seasoning once you open your jar, if that's what you prefer to do. These are store-bought beans. The reason that I like canning them is sometimes I decide at the last minute when I'm cooking supper that I would like to have some beans for supper, and I don't have time to go through that soaking process or the quick soak process, and then you're having to cook them and it just takes so long. And then this way you just open a jar and they're ready. You're just heating them, making your cornbread, and they're ready to go. So when you're filling your jars, you want to make sure that you leave that 1-inch headspace. I'll fill my jar just about to that 1-inch headspace, and then I'll fill the rest of it up with liquid. And there will be a few beans in there when I'm trying to get the liquid because it's just so full. The pan is so full, the stock pot. And I'll go ahead and fill these jars up real fast and skip this process. And then after you have all of your jars filled, you want to make sure that you get the bubbles out. I'm just using this little wooden dowel, but they have tools for this. You can use a butter knife, just whatever, put it in there, move it around, and make sure you just get any type of air pocket out that's in there. Then I go ahead and I fill, because the water will go down just a little bit once you go to moving it around, I just go ahead and I make sure that I do have that 1-inch headspace. So if I have to add a little bit more liquid back, I do so. I did wipe the tops down around my jars. I didn't show that part. I just take a little bit of vinegar on a paper towel and just wrap around that so that my jar will have a really good seal to it. Put your lids on your rings. Just make sure that you get it just finger tight. You don't want it real tight. And then you'll just put it in your canner. From my altitude, I pressure can on 10 pounds for 90 minutes for quarts. On pints, you only had to process for 60 minutes. And then once they're complete, I'm just putting my lid on right there, and then I'll let it go through the processing time. And once they're complete, I just take them out. I let my processor complete, or the canner completely cool down before I take my lid off. I don't force it to cool down faster. You don't want to do that. Let it cool down on its own. And then I go ahead and take my jars out. Once they are completely cool and they're sealed, I do take my rings off, and that's the way I store them. If you have any questions, just let me know.